Reel in the fishing action at Sebastian Inlet State Park in Florida. This report shows snook slamming baits and bluefish and jacks crushing jigs. Stick around for the fishing tips that will boost your catches this week. I was there on Tuesday morning and saw only about 5 people fishing, although it was low tide with the incoming tide just starting. There wasn't much going on. But overall, fishing out of Sebastian Inlet appears to be improving as water temperatures warm. However, the absence of bait fish is making it tougher in some spots. I have some exciting news about where to catch snook and where some of the bait fish are hiding, and that's coming up next. Wayne Landry, the legendary snook man, said southeast winds over 10 miles per hour dirtied the water last week and the seaweed lingering. Fishing got messier in some areas around the inlet. On the north side, the North Jetty is still closed until July, so not much going on here due to limited fishing space. Some sheep's head and spot-tail pinfish are being caught along the rocks on the incoming tide, plus a few small mangrove snappers are starting to appear. Back towards the mangroves, boaters are catching catch-and-release snook on live bait during the incoming tide. Also, some flounder are being caught, and I'll tell you where in the next segment. On the south side, the snook man said this is where the action has been during both tides. On the early morning incoming tide, catch and release snook are being caught on all live baits. Mohira, if you can find any, is the best bait to use right now. Small croakers will work well too. Snook are biting at the South Jetty and along the seawall. But watch for the strong southeast winds, because when they blow, the snook bite shuts down. On the outgoing tide at the jetty tip, sand perch, whiting, margates, and spot-tail pinfish are still biting pretty well for those using cut shrimp. The snook man reported that decent-sized bluefish and jacks are being caught on silver spoons and vertical jigs fished towards the channel during both tides. And in just a moment, I'm going to tell you how to catch some pompano. Now for the T-dock area. The water is much cleaner, and on the outgoing tide, there are some small bait fish around the dock, attracting some decent Spanish mackerel. For these fish, Snookman recommends tiny jigs, swim baits, and live greenies. Around the pilings, there have been some small mangrove snapper being caught on cut baits and small greenies, dead or alive. Most of the snappers have been too small to keep, but a few have made the grade to go home. Some catch-and-release snook are also being caught on live baits and thumper jigs on the incoming tide. Want to catch some flounder? Farther west along the T-dock shoreline, some anglers are catching flounder with live shrimp. Although most are too small, some were kept measuring 14 inches. For surf fishing, some pompano and whiting are biting in the surf near the South Jetty, using cut shrimp and live sand fleas. Keep in mind the surf here has been messed up and dirty due to strong southeast winds. And if you're getting value from this fishing report, let me know by clicking on the like button. For the St. Sebastian River, we've talked with a few anglers who say it's slow there too. They claim nothing good is biting there either. At the Headwaters in Fellsmere, here's a picture of Bill with a nice bass that he caught out there. And if you want to learn more about bass fishing, talk to Pat at Fellsmere Fishing Headquarters. It's a bait shop located on County Road 512 in Fellsmere. Call them, 772-571-6491. For offshore fishing, check out these pictures from Captain Terry from the Big Easy Fishing Charters. Kingfish and Spanish mackerel are biting, though offshore fishing remains slow. Captain Terry reports excellent cobia fishing opportunities in July around large bottom structures at 85 to 90-foot reefs. Look for big amberjack moving onto the reefs, especially if cold water pushes in from deeper water. This cold water influx often brings fish closer to shore, boosting catch rates for inshore fishing. You can also expect snapper and kingfish along the reefs within a few miles off the beach. This week, low tides will be early in the morning and afternoon, with high tides in the late morning and evening hours. Sunrise is at 6:26. with sunset at 8:20. Now, mullet have been spotted in the Indian River Lagoon, particularly in the canals and under bridges, as well as the St. Sebastian River. However, these sightings are no comparison to the mullet run, which will happen in September and October. This migration sparks a feeding frenzy, attracting predatory fish such as snook, tarpon, redfish, jacks, and Spanish mackerel. These fish feed on mullet, creating exciting fishing opportunities around Sebastian Inlet. You may have seen my video last week about the best baits for summer at the Sebastian Inlet. If not, just click here. It's a must-see if you haven't watched it, detailing which baits to use Summer is considered prime fishing due to stable weather and warmer water temperatures. On Tuesday, June 24th, a coastal cleanup event will take place by Coastal Connections at Sebastian Inlet State Park, starting at 9 a.m. Volunteers can gather at the cove near the park's restrooms to help remove trash. This event is part of a bigger effort like the Florida Coastal Cleanup across the state, where people team up to pick up trash from beaches and shores. The aim is to keep the park beautiful and protect sea animals from dangerous litter such as fishing lines, hooks, and plastic garbage. Coastal Connections partnered with the Sebastian Inlet District and Sebastian Inlet State Park to organize the cleanup. A previous event, known as the third annual Sebastian Inlet Cleanup, was held on May 1st and 2nd, during which volunteers removed roughly 1,500 pounds of debris, including fishing lines, nets, and lead sinkers. The Atlantic hurricane season began on June 1st and runs through November 30th. NOAA forecasts a 60% chance of an above normal season, a 30% chance of a near normal season, and a 10% chance of a below normal season in the Atlantic basin. They predict 13 to 19 named storms, 6 to 10 hurricanes, and 3 to 5 major hurricanes, which are Category 3 or higher. These predictions do not guarantee that the Sebastian Inlet will be hit by a hurricane this season, but as a hurricane-prone area, we must remain vigilant and prepared for potential storms throughout the season. I'm getting many questions about the construction of the new Sebastian Inlet Bridge. Construction is currently set to begin in spring 2026 and is expected to be completed by fall 2031. The Florida Department of Transportation states that the purpose of this project is to address the structural and functional deficiencies of the existing bridge while providing space for bicycles and pedestrians. Another topic I want to talk about is sun protection. It is very important to protect yourself from the sun by wearing UV protective clothing. Choose long-sleeve fishing shirts and pants with UPF ratings of 30 or higher, ideally 50 plus. Always wear a hat. Use a broad-spectrum sunscreen of SPF 30 or higher that protects against UVA and UVB rays. Wear polarized sunglasses with 100% UV protection. They reduce glare off the water, improving visibility for spotting fish like permit or snook while protecting your eyes. I'd love to know your thoughts about this week's fishing. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already to receive these updates. I'm Andy Hodges for the Sebastian Inlet Fishing Report.